Good afternoon. Up until yesterday, Paul and I had never met, and it's very interesting that for two people who are in the same job but work for different companies, and okay, we have QPM, have people working at Jacobs at the moment, we share a lot of the same philosophies and a lot of our methodology. When we started to speak this morning, the way that we're approaching things is very, very similar. At the root of how we will make health and safety better in Qatar is education is fundamental to all of this. Now, right at the start of the presentation, Paul mentioned the Olympics project in 2012 in the UK, in London. We're both from the UK, but if I hear one more time how good they managed to deliver that project, which is a good cause for celebration, there were no fatalities, but when they talk about it now, and our current Prime Minister has been quoted several times in the media having said, why don't Qatar just do it like we did? Well, there's a lot of reasons, and I'm sure you can rhyme off quite a number of those. It's a very simplistic approach to take to say, well, we managed to do it, so why don't you just copy what we've done? Well, there are a lot of reasons, and the way that we've decided to overcome these is through education. But education is a big term, it's a huge subject, and we have to tailor that education to suit the entire workforce. Now, on the slide that's up at the moment, the bottom slide is taken, that picture was taken at almost 6 o'clock in the morning. There were 3,000 men assembled on that site, and we gave them a 20-minute toolbox talk because this was a particularly difficult site with a lot of health and safety issues to overcome, and we weren't quite sure how to approach that. But we went down the education route. So we picked the top 5 subjects that were causing us problems on that site, and we shared them with the entire workforce because they had a part to play in it. Now, if I were to try and do that in the UK, it would not work. But it worked perfectly well here. It was a fantastic initiative. And for 20 minutes, at 6 o'clock in the morning, 3,000 men sat on the ground and gave me their undivided attention. That is a fantastic achievement. And it's a real privilege to speak to 3,000 people who give you their undivided attention. Now, obviously, I can't speak Hindi, which is the language that's common to most of those men. A lot of them have some English, and there are a scattering of other languages. So the way we decided to approach that is that the person who spoke English would get the last slot with the least amount of time. The person that spoke Hindi, he had the biggest percentage of time. And that the 3 presenters had colluded beforehand. We knew what we wanted to say, we knew the message we wanted to get across, and we've now done that successfully. We're about to do our 4th one. So that was one method that we used. What that also achieved, other than just getting the message across to 3,000 people, what that also achieved was their buy-in to us. Nobody had ever listened to their point of view before, but as part of that toolbox talk, they were given the opportunity at the end to give us some feedback. Now, they didn't stand up in front of the entire crowd. They wanted to come and do that individually, and they've now started to do that. Very common amongst health and safety people is the urge to go out and tell people on sites what they should not do and to stop activities. That's not what we're about, or it shouldn't be what we're about. What we should be about is making construction managers' lives easy and making health and safety a built-in part of whatever the activity is. Sadly, that's not always the case, but on this particular site, that's exactly the way it's working at the moment. When we get buy-in from people on the site, we reward that. So rather than tell people, no, you're not doing that properly, this is wrong, that's wrong, what we've decided to do is congratulate people when we see them do it properly. So what you see in the top photograph is one of our directors. Actually, the gentleman in the black t-shirt is actually a director. And he appeared at the toolbox talk at 6 o'clock in the morning, and he handed out certificates to the members of the contractor safety team who had gone above and beyond what was within their job description. And over the months, that all started in November, and the change in that one site from November until now is absolutely unrecognisable. So much so that we are about to celebrate 5 million man-hours with no lost time injuries. A huge achievement, a massive achievement on a site where health and safety just wasn't recognised at all. So through very small incremental steps, all based on education, information, instruction, these people have come on leaps and bounds, and it's still not perfect, but it's a different site today than what it was back in November, and it's all to do with education, training people, giving encouragement and rewarding things when we see things are going right, rather than the traditional health and safety. You can't do this, please stop doing that. We don't do any of that. We don't do that. I'll get back to Paul.